This morning in our Saturday session, Ani DiFranco. It's easiest to call DiFranco a folk singer, but this Buffalo born singer-songwriter has never been constrained by one genre. Her new album, Revolutionary Love, is heavily influenced by jazz. Critics are calling it searing and hopeful. You'll hear her perform songs from that album in a moment, along with a DiFranco classic. But first, we sat down with her at New York's legendary Irving Plaza. How bad do you want to be back here?
Just being this close to the scene of my many crimes just makes me want to dive back in.
Recently renovated, though still closed by COVID, Irving Plaza is one of the venues that helped establish Ani DiFranco as a singular talent.
Buildings and bridges are made to bend in the wind.
Independent, adored, and prolific.
I will bring the knife, the revolutionary life.
Her latest, Revolutionary Love, is her 22nd album.
The revolutionary love.
What is Revolutionary Love?
For me, it's basically about showing up to the hard labor of good change, of truth and justice with love in your heart.
Is it about loving people you really don't want to love?
Absolutely.
I live in two different worlds simultaneously.
One of the videos for this new album got her cited for trespassing on oil company land, an act of artistic activism that put DiFranco before a judge just before our interview. You just got arrested recently, and we're in court. And we're in court this morning.
Yes, Zoom court. Zoom court is about as fun as Zoom anything.
DiFranco's passions by this point have taken her around the world many times over. But it started in a house that could be stifling, in Buffalo, New York. You grew up in a house with no walls.
Yeah.
How does that work?
My mother was an architect and my father an engineer, and this was their baby. This was their project, this house. It was a carriage house that they turned into our family abode. And their vision was to have no walls, to have only intimacy and togetherness, I guess. The only door was on the bathroom. My family, it didn't work so great. Not great.
Because?
My family was not at peace.
At the age of 9, DiFranco met a local musician who introduced her to the Buffalo folk scene. At 15, she moved out of the house, and by the early 1990s wound up in New York City, where she became an indie star.
Our apartment was the 5th floor. There was, I think, 8 of us that lived there.
Do you ever just want to give up?
16 years ago, she made the move to New Orleans, finding motherhood and a second marriage. You've had difficulties in your marriage, and you've been open about them.
Marriage is hard.
Can be.
And it was really difficult for my fella for a lot of years when the kids were little, and he was holding down the fort all by himself. And, you know, you are struggling in these different spheres, and you grow apart, and resentments build. But this album, this new album of mine, is sort of like the breakup album without the breakup.
I like that.
We made it through.
I was living.
DiFranco has produced and distributed every single one of her albums independently on Righteous Babe Records. Has there ever been a moment when you've regretted not doing a major label studio album?
I don't think so.
And working with a big-time producer?
Well, it's hard to know about the road not taken, right? You know, Actually, I changed my answer. I've regretted it a lot. And thought along the way. That is a more true answer. I look back at some of the things that I've recorded, and I think, dang, those are some good songs, and I didn't do them justice. And if only I had brought in the team of professionals. You know, I was just a kid with a stubborn kid who was just like, I'm not going to wait around for the team of professionals. I'm going to do it. It's not perfect, but hey. But sometimes I do look back at my records and I think, sorry, songs.
I will tend my anger.
DiFranco's brutal honesty is something her dedicated fans have seen for more than 3 decades. And it sounds like there is much more to come.
Yeah, I will bring the love, the revolutionary love.
I hope that I have helped more than I've harmed. It always felt ironic that I was described again and again and again for decades as an angry woman, you know? Because, you know,
it's an easy label. It's an easy label.
Yeah. But I feel like I've always come from that place of revolutionary love. I love my country. And that's why I fight for it in my way. You know, it's all out of love.
The revolutionary love.